The clock strikes 12, I step into the haze. Whispers call me from 1,000 graves. Shadows dance in corners out of sight. I chase the unknown deep into the night. I hunt the fear you dare not face. In the darkness I embrace the trace. The dead, they speak their secrets shown. Welcome to the bizarre and the unknown. A flicker, a chill, a shadowed hand. The unseen lingers where I stand. Through creaking doors and empty halls, I hear the echoes of forgotten calls. I hunt the fear you dare not face. In the darkness I embrace the trace. The dead, they speak their secrets shown. Welcome to the bizarre and the unknown. And the unknown. Eyes that watch from a place unreal, a touch so cold it makes you feel they're near but hidden, veiled in shade. I walk with ghosts, I'm unafraid. I hunt the fear you dare not face. In the darkness I embrace the trace. The dead, they speak their secrets shown. Welcome to the bizarre and the unknown.
I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Bizarre and the Unknown. I'm your host, E.D. Testerman. We got a pretty fun show today. Most of you know that I like to utilize the Library of Congress quite often. When I'm going back and looking at things it's talked about in history. And this is no different. So we're going to dive, haven't done this one in a while, looking at the skeletal remains of giants. And I mean, I found stuff that goes back to 1898, and we're going to take a look at some of these. Let me get my screen up here. This is going to jack on my chat for a little bit, so if it takes me a little while to respond to you, that is why. So you guys know how I like to, I believe these things existed or still exist this one time. And we know that what we're taught is not necessarily true. And in the past, our ancestors talked about that. Well, this is one of those things. And this first one here is the Republican. I think that's Maryland, out of Oakland, Maryland, August 29th, 1912. And the headline says, "Skeleton of a Giant. Remains of a Big Indian Found in California." 7 foot 4 inches was the height of the member of the extinct race whose bones were dug up. San Francisco, California, up to about 300 years ago, a giant race of Indians inhabited the coastal region of California. Remains of these have been discovered in the islands of the Santa Barbara Channel. To William Altman, assistant curator of the Golden Gate Park Memorial Museum, belongs to the honor of discovering one of the tallest and best preserved skeletons of this extinct tribe. And that kind of brings up a question for me. If it's the well preserved, it may not be as old as mainstream science wants us to believe. And so I always see key things like that, because like that makes me wonder what are just how far back are they calling ancient? Because if it's well preserved, it's fairly new. Altman utilized his vacation in excavating an old burial mound in the nursery of the Thomas S. Duane, 2 miles from Condor in Contra Costa County. The giant skeleton was found 10 feet from the surface, and around it were a large number of mortars and pedestals. Interesting. Charm stones and obsidian arrowheads. We have talked about this multiple times, where these burial mounds, I don't think they were Indian burial mounds. Some of them may be. I'm a big believer that they're either A, they were the waste piles where they threw their garbage and the broken stuff and remains of their food that they didn't eat, or B, it was giant burial mounds. And we're seeing a very big pattern when they're digging up these burial mounds, that they're finding giant remains in them. But when they dig it up and he has a mortar and pedestal, that's used for making medicine. Charm stones and obsidian arrowheads. These guys were intelligent. That just shows you how intelligent these giant beings were. The skeleton has not yet been mounted, but the bones are assembled on a table in the quarters of the office and placed on private exposition. The bones are in good state of preservation, which tells me, once again, it's not as ancient as they're trying to make you believe. Let's see where I left off. Preservation. Being hard and firm, although brown with age, 2 or 3 of the vertebrae are missing, and the skull is broken into 3 parts. The skeleton measures 7 feet 4 inches. The tibia is 17 inches in length. The skull is in great contrast with that of the Digger Indian of the present day, being of a much more intellectual type. That makes you wonder, were they breeding with the other tribes? And that's why you got similarity in that. The underjaw is square and massive, being remarkably thick and strong. Either the dead Indian was a great age, or he subsisted on hard food, as shown by his molars, which were worn perfectly flat and close to the gums. The find is of the greatest importance to archaeologists the world over, confirming, as it does, the theory advanced when the giant skeleton were unearthed in the Santa Barbara Islands, that a superior race of Indians, physically and mentally, preceded the Digger and other native races of the present day. This is evident also in that the pedestal and the charm stones found near the body. The former are ornated with phallic carvings, whereas the pedestal made by the former and present day diggers are not carved or oriented in any way. The charm stones are of baked clay and beginning in the art of pottery making, which are not found with digger remains. Hey, Tyler. This this interesting find was made on the Salvador Pachillo Ranch, part of which is occupied by Duane's nursery, in the Altman's intention to make a further exploration of the mound at an earlier date for other relics of the bygone tribe. So you're seeing some very, very, hey, Donald, interesting remarks when it comes to this. Okay. What do you guys think? Do you think it's as old as they thought it was at one time, giving the characteristics of it? It was old enough to stain the bones, which in all actuality, the mineralization of staining the bones doesn't take very long. They were mating with the giants that were erased in the mid 1800s when they disassembled the old technology and acted like everything was never there to keep it for future generations. That's possible. That's definitely possible. To me, if they got the same characteristics, but there's difference, tells me there was some type of breeding going on. Absolutely. Jonas Side said older. Could be. I mean, it is pretty well preserved, though. One of the best found. So I'd say it's probably a lot newer than what they were making out. I'm out. Hey, Christopher, I'm out and about, so I just got to lurk. Yep, no worries. This next one is the Harrison Press Journal from Harrison, Nebraska, May 17th, 1900. And the title of this one is The World's Tallest Giants. Legends of Indian tribes of Arizona and northern Mexico teem with the tales of race of giants who once lived on the mesa. Scientists say that the prehistoric man was a little hairy creature bearing a closer resemblance to a monkey than a man. Darwinism enforces this belief, which I'm you guys know me, I'm not a big fan of Darwinism. I believe in evolution, but not to the degree that Darwinism and mainstream science wants you to believe it is. The hilts of the weapons of the men of the Bronze Age are too small to be clasped firmly by man of today. Their armor is too small for men of today. But the finding of a prehistoric skeleton in the Grand Canyon of the Colorado would, if authenticated, overthrow all the arguments of the scientist. So we're seeing something right there. And he has a very good point. Because how many times have I mentioned that? History and science is fact until somebody can prove it different. And usually they got to wait until the person who previously had the facts passes away before they get a chance to say, no, he's wrong. They fight for it hardly. So, I mean, that's a key comment right there. 40 miles from Flagstaff, Arizona, the guide has unearthed the petrified skeleton of a man who he estimated to have been at least 17 feet tall. That's a big dude. An old Indian led the guide to the human monster's tomb. The skeleton lay face downward on the shelf under the projecting rock. The right arm was extended. The left leg was missing. The right leg had been broken off at the knee, but the foot was found lodged in a crevice nearby. That almost makes it sound like that thing was intentionally unalived. Lime water falling on the corpse had turned it into stone. The outlines of the body were perfect. Hall did not turn the fossil over or make accurate measurements, and he and the old Indian studied the stone skeleton for 10 minutes and then returned to the trail. Plus, they hide all evidence of it, and any found to come up with some half-ass excuse why you buy. They have teams of people who make those excuses up. Yep, they do. When Hall returned to Flagstaff, scientists scoffed at the story, and his friends laughed at him. He was not since he has not since visited the skeleton because of his fear of ridicule. Very, very common practice in mainstream science and mainstream history. If you're trying to prove somebody wrong, this is what they do damn near every single time. That is why it's so hard to get facts out in science and history, because of that right there. And of course, through the though he clings to this story and says he will lead a scientist to the spot to prove or disprove it, his giant must for the present be labeled interesting if true. But there are plenty of sure enough giant remains. Travelers in Peru tell of monster human skulls found at the Chachani 30 miles from the from North Lima. Of all the races of giants, a tribe lived on the island of Puna in the Gulf of Guyana. Their skulls and weapons are in the Smithsonian Institute. Yucatan Indians have a legend of the giant Navapac, who tripped up believed travelers by lying down across the trails. For every question you have, they have 15 excuses. Yeah, promptly awaiting. The Mexican giants were buried in a sitting posture in enormous stone urns. Similar coffins made of clay have been found on the plains of far off Chadilla in Asia. That was something that I even remember in college. They were talking about ancient burial practices is very similar to this. A lot of times they were put in holes in this situation, but we're hearing stone and clay stuff now. So you're seeing where the setted. When I was in college, they talked about they were setted, but yet in the fetal position, like returning back to the womb. So I'm interested if that's how they were. The giant skeletons discovered by travelers from Arizona to Peru have the same average height. Their weapons and utensils are alike, showing that the tribe once hunted and ranged along the Pacific coast of the two continents. In the curious burial mounds scattered all over America, the American continent, skeletons of giants have been found, sometimes reaching about 8 feet in height. The skeleton of the woman or a half foot shorter, or are a half foot. The women are a half foot shorter. Giants of the olden days legends may. I think that's what it's saying. Were cruel and enormous strength, feeding on human flesh. Unromantic science points out that the modern giants are good-natured, weak physically, and small meat eaters. What do they mean by that? Giants these days. Makes me kind of curious. What do you guys think about that comment? I'll put it back up here again. Giants of olden days legend may say were cruel and enormous skeleton, enormous strength, feeding on human flesh. Unromantic since science points out that modern giants. Science points out that modern giants are good-natured, weak physically, and small meat eaters. Yeah, that's very odd, Tyler. They tell you don't exist, but in this article in 1900, they're saying giants nowadays. This is why I like looking at this old stuff. To capture the climax, scientists declare that a giant is only a freak, like a dwarf or a three-legged chicken. They have even invented the name gigantism or for the particular disease that makes giants. To me, that is weird. To me, it sounds like they're trying to cover it up, and that's why. Proof's in the pudding. They have even invented the name gigantism for this particular disease. I don't think it's a disease. I think that is DNA from the past that surfaced, that happens from time to time. You'll have DNA from an ancestor in the past that mysteriously appears. Say you have a white man and a white woman have a baby, but their baby comes out brown. The DNA matches both the mom and dad, but the baby come out brown. One of the parents in their past had a brown ancestor, and the gene does pop out. That does happen. Not frequently, but it does happen. And don't forget, a giant is only a cannibal if they eat other giants. Yeah. Well, in American society, a cannibal is if you eat humans. The DNA will show a human mother and unknown father. Sometimes. Yep. The tables given of modern and prehistoric skeleton or giants seem to, right there it again. Modern and prehistoric giants seem to show that allowing for the uncertainty of measurements of the latter. There is probably not much difference between them, but a man 8 foot 6 inches high would, of course, seem much bigger to a race of pygmies than he does to an average modern Yankee. Miss Ella Ewing, the Missouri giantess, is counted 8 foot, and she is one of the biggest modern instances of abnormal growth. I didn't know about her, Ella Ewing. She is a Missouri giant. Then they're using the word wrong, because if a dog eats a dog, he is considered a cannibal as well. They use the term cannibalism, same with they do. But if you study, hey, a little twisted, wonder if some giant bones are Bigfoot. Yeah, it makes you wonder. But if you actually listen to how they talk, if you eat any type of human flesh, you're considered a cannibal. So you really got to consider that when you're reading this stuff. Because they could say something to twist it up and change it. So you have to consider that. This one here is from the Washington Daily News, Washington, D.C., March 26, 1925. Mastodon. Oh, never mind. That's a mastodon. The Indian Advocate. This one here, when I was reading it, really confuses me. Would they even know a watcher skeleton from a human? That's a good point. This article, I was debating on reading this or not because parts of it does talk about re-intimating a giant, but it can also be misconstrued as intimating a theory. I'm not too for sure on this one. The Indian Advocate, Sacred Heart, Oklahoma, January 1st, 1898. Even the counter-revolution. Oh, there you go, Nursery. The Pisces of Charitable Institution of Social Order for the Conversion of the Savage to Catholicism and to an agricultural and peaceful life are reduced to the gardens and enclosures of the churches and buildings that the Indians were, or who are naturally lazy now from additional labor and scarcity of nourishment, by gosh, if I can speak, being in a state of nudity, having no fixed employment or appointed missions, prefer to keep out of the way and die independent in the desert woods. In order to escape a life of slavery filled with all provisions and destitute of social enjoyment. There is no other way of reanimating the skeleton of a giant like the remains of the ancient missions except to fall back upon experience and fortify it with the appliances of civil and whatever power. This is why I want this part's kind of important because this is where this gets confusing. So you read that part there, but if you get down here, this governor makes an attempt to restore missions, but the evil has been done and the skeleton of the giant could not be reanimated. The immense benefits of conferring upon the world by the civilization of an empire, considered from a purely worldly point of view and independent of a spiritual benefit to the souls of the people, were utterly disregarded and the same insane. Unbusinesslike spirit which has possessed the nations from the foundation of the world exhibit itself to be itself in destroying what had been intended for the world's benefit and involving in ruin the civilization perfected by the church. You can see where this is kind of confusing. That's why I debated on putting this one in, because the one aspect of it, like I said, that can be looked at as is it talking about their mission or is it talking about an actual giant because of what they said? I didn't read this one, so I don't know if this is dinosaur or human. We'll take a look in this. I don't remember this one. This is from the Arizona Republic in Phoenix, Arizona, June 3rd, 1910. It says Alaskan giant remains silent. Hey, Aaron. Come on. Christensen's manager wires Leo Rockler that we will take him on and give his share of a box of recipes to charity. Well, am I reading the wrong one? Okay, yeah, I don't think that's going to be what we think it is. That one is a story. I remember that one. I don't remember this one either. Okay, nope, that's a baseball team. Giant sloth. This is the problem with reading these old newspapers is you got to pick through them to find which one it is you're actually looking for. (1776) any article before then. In some instances, you're correct. Yes, not in all, but in some, yes, you are absolutely right. Okay, that's about the Titanic. Yeah. There's giant reptile remains. Skeleton giant of a bio Indian found in. Oh, that we read that one already. Giant reptiles again. Defense capacity of this giant city remains great. Enable of the Lutheran movement and that giant movement remains one giant. 1921. Thick advertising, baseball. Ooh, 1911. Hey, Robin. Oh, man, you going to start acting up now? See, I always go for the newspaper when I'm doing the. Come on. Doing the research on historical stuff. Because they'll slip it out there. Some will lie to you about it. Some will slip it out there. Some will put both in there. So when you're reading this stuff, you have to be careful on that. Yeah, these are old. Hey, who let the dogs out? Vroom, 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 vroom. Oh, come on. Okay, that no wait. Reported been a mass bomb for. Okay, that's a mammoth. So that's not one we're looking at. (1897). Okay, that's a story. That's the thing about these old newspapers. They used to tell stories in them. Okay, that's an ocean. I haven't made it this far down, so I'm trying to see some of these I may have missed. And it's going to act up again. Daggone weather. But it's sunny out right now, so I don't know why it's acting up. And we're going to have to do this bit again, so I got to wait for it to. I wonder if I can do it quicker. Hey, girl. There we go. Oh, here's one. Okay. This one comes from the Richmond Times-Dispatch, Richmond, Virginia, October 14th, 1919. The title is Find Fossilized Giant Remains 32 Foot Tall. Veracruz natives declare Big Being was related to the gods of their forefathers. Mexico City, October 13th. The fossilized remains of a giant measuring 32 foot tall, or 32 foot 10 inches in height, were according to report recently discovered by workmen near the little village of Nanacanupa, state of Veracruz. The natives, who still cling to many of the traditions of their Indian ancestors, declare that the giant was related to the gods of their forefathers. They erected a catafalque in the plaza upon which the giant rested in the state for many days, um, covered with flowers, and the night carefully guarded. The giant attracted the attention of scientists here. Manuel Gamio, what are you doing, boy? Director of art and anthropology at the National Museum, expects to leave soon for the Nanakamlipa. Yeah, I can't say it, to investigate. He is inclined to believe the fossil is that of a prehistoric vertebrate, not human. Yeah, yeah. Hey, Ryan. So I mean, we're hearing this, and this that one's what again? I forgot. 1912, I think it was. Nope. 1919. So I mean, you hear these guys talking about it, and in the old days, they did write that stuff in the newspaper. Then all of a sudden, mainstream historians go, "Yeah, that's not true." So they stop writing about it. As you can tell, these are late 1800s and early 1900s that they're talking about this stuff. Why are you jacking with me? I've not had this much trouble with you before. Why are you messing with me that much? Took a little trip. Yep. In 1814, we took a little trip along Colonel Jackson down the mighty Mississippi. We took a little bacon and we took a little beans and we caught the bloody British at the town of New Orleans. Love that song. There he goes. That's a mammoth. Brontosaurus. Giant reptile. Okay, that's baseball. Seriously, you're going to keep on doing this? I guess they don't like me reading this because, man, it's acting up big time right now. Yeah, that's a mastodon. Oh, here's one. Okay. This is from the Weekly Miner, but September 14th, 1880. Discovery of giant remains in Ohio. A correspondent of the Cincinnati Inquirer is describing the mound in which the gigantic skeletons lately found in Muskingum County, Ohio, were deposited. Says it was about 60 foot long and 35 foot wide. Top measurements and gently sloped downward to the hill where it situated. A number of stumps of trees were found on the slope, standing in two rows, and on top of the mound were the oak and hickory stumps, all of which bore marks of great age. All skeletons were found on a level with a hill, and about 8 foot from the top of the mound. In one grave, there was two skeletons, one male and one female. The female was face looking downward, the male being immediately over with the face looking upwards. The male skeleton measured 9 foot in length. and the female 8 foot. In another grave were also found 2 skeletons, male and female, with the female facing looking upward and the male facing looking downward. The male frame was 9 foot 4 inches in length, and the female 8 foot. In another grave was found a female skeleton encased in a clay coffin, holding her arms the frail skeleton of a child 3 feet and a half long, by the side of which was an image which, upon being exposed to the atmosphere, crumbled repeatedly. 7 others were found in single graves and lying on their sides. The smallest of the 7 was 9 foot in length. That's the smallest of the 7. What does that tell you about the other ones? And the largest was 10. So, I mean, you got a 10-footer right there. One singular circumstance connected with this discovery was the fact that not a single tooth was found in either mouth, except in the one encased in the clay coffin. On the south end of the mound was erected a stone altar 4 feet and a half wide and 12 feet long, built on an earth foundation nearly 4 feet high, having in the middle 2 large flagstones, upon which sacrifices were undoubtedly made. For upon them were found the charred bones, cinders, and ashes. This was covered by about 3 feet of earth. This excavation was made under the Muskingum County Historical Society, and the things alluded to in this letter or dispatch can be verified by a number of witnesses who were present and watched the work as it progressed. It was pursued with great interest and diligence, there being the strongest incentive to pursue the investigation, for such remarkable developments in mound opening are very rare and are therefore fascinating in the extreme. Their future labors were also rewarded with additional developments in which, if they do not throw additional light upon this country, will at least stimulate research. What is now a profound mystery, the result of this excavation may be in time become the key to unlock still further mysteries that centuries ago were commonplace affairs. Is a stone that was found resting against the head of the clay coffin above described. It is an irregular shape, red sandstone weighing 18 pounds, being strongly impregnated with oxide of iron, and bearing upon 2 sides lines of hieroglyphs. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Auntie. Sparkles. That's not letting me pull that up. That's cool. I didn't know you can do that. That's kind of cool. So, I mean, you're hearing here, that these things were Silver Star too. Sweet. Thank you, Aaron. And this was in 1880 they were talking about. I have no clue. That is new to me. That's kind of cool. I have no clue what they do, though. I'll be honest with you. Hey, Kevin. But you're hearing here that, this is even talking about them doing, these giants were doing sacrifices. They got multiple of them. I mean, all of them were 9 foot to 10 foot. That's some big cats. I mean, apparently, that's pretty daggone old. I mean, once again, you got these what they call Indian mounds, and what they find in them is giant remains. Could they be Bigfoot, like someone asked earlier? That is possible. That is definitely possible. But it could also be actual humans too, because we know of humans throughout every type of civilization in history talks about giant humans, especially ones we were reading about earlier when they were 13 foot tall. This is interesting. This is one where they're trying to say there's no race of giants. Let's see what they have to say. This is the Tupelo Journal, Tupelo, Mississippi, December 5th, 1913. The remains of an extinct race of men which have been dug up furnish no evidence of the former existence of giants, nor does any race of men larger than that inhabited by North American or northern parts of the Great Britain exist at the present day. We recognize a certain size as that which is characteristic of man and of various species. And this is, to me, this sounds like mainstream historians trying to fight back on everything that's being found. Hey, honest. Kevin, how are you doing? Yeah, I can see I can, Don. Why are all the old world buildings built for giants, 10 foot plus tall? Yeah. I mean, that's another one there. Sounds like the Smithsonian spokesperson. Absolutely. That's why I'm kind of intrigued actually reading this one, because I wanted to see, because like I said, this was put out in 1913. So I want to try. This sounds to be the start of the cover up in 1913. Certain height and characteristics of man and of various species of wild animals. See, now they're even talking about these giant wild animals too, which we have seen numerous fossilized remains of not only giant humans but giant animals, and they're even bringing that up in this one. And we are accustomed to a certain small variation in the size so that individuals are somewhat shorter or taller. But any large divergence from the characteristics heights amounting to the case of man to a third more or less than the average of normal height, we regard as altogether exceptional and speak of the abnormally tall individuals as giants and abnormally short as dwarfs. So, I mean, he's trying to counteract what these people are fighting. Or are finding. Giant animal remains. Giant skeleton remains, unlike any other found before. Is this one? Oh, you've already done that to me twice today. Why do I got to continually verify that I'm a human? Kind of want to see if this is one similar to what we was reading before. Nope, this is a new one. So this is the Detroit Times, Detroit, Michigan, September 19th, 1911. And it says, Arizona farm yields giant skeleton, remains unlike any ever found before. Prescott, Arizona, September 19th. The skeleton of an immense human being was found recently by Peter Marks on his farm near Juniper, northwest of Prescott. The bones had been practically exposed by the erosion in the side of the creek bed. Marks investigated further and finally assembled most of the skeleton, which is that of a man, probably twice as large as an average man of today, and several feet taller. The skull is complete, and in the jaws are teeth that are tusk-like in size. The bones have never been seen by a number of Prescott residents. In no ways do these seem related to the remains of the ancient races found in such abundance in Verdue and other valleys of the county. They found another one. They're talking about how they find these numerous remains of these ancient peoples, and this one here is not like any of them. So once again, I mean, several times they're finding this stuff. What'd you say earlier? I must have missed that. I wonder if did I miss something there, Urso? I may have missed a comment. If I did, I'm sorry. Oh. Baseball. What type of giant, though? So I'm wondering if this is a giant human. Man, this is a long one. Ponce de Leon. No place has more romantic history than St. Augustine. It is, in fact, that little is really known of this early days. 5 minutes to the top of the hour. Okay, thanks. 2 kitty kisses and 4 watching. Known as the early days of the place, this certainly has developed naturally, involving into things lived by Juan Ponce de Leon. In the islands, I want to know about the giants. The 2 warriors met. De Leon's page threw it himself before Tumuca's spear saved Dylan's life for the moment, but it's still at the mercy of the savage. Suddenly, Alida, attired in the dress of the Carib, which she had slain, darted forward and, drawing her bow, pierced Tumuca to the heart, and reaching forward to snatch the sacred cup from the dead chief's neck, was struck by a poisoned arrow and fell dead. The battle was decided by Dion's family, the Silus and the Yotomatos, appearing and killing every one of the Caribs. Timoka's body was buried on Ancestral Island near the Koika quarries where the giant remains were discovered. Oh, so he was buried where they discovered remains of giants. And going through her dog pictures. Top of the hour. Let's do some Dark Angel Medical. Here we go.
He comes quiet, coat of crows, bread like winter in your nose. Foot of the bed, then polite, asking softly for your light.
You stare holes into the wall, hands like paper, helpless small. Every clock hand starts to shake. How much mercy can you take?
Call Dark Angel Medical, call him fast. In the shadows at your shoulder when you're fading black. When his fingers find your heartbeat, digging for control. There's a number in the silence, there's a lifeline for your soul. Call Dark Angel, call Dark Angel. She come running down the stairs, folder full of worn out prayers. He's already in the chair. Death just smirks and combs his hair.
Sign here, death says it's routine. Ink like rivers, cold and mean. Then the nurse kicks in the door. Boots like thunder on the floor.
Call Dark Angel Medical, call him fast. When the shadows at your shoulder, when you're fading black. When his fingers find your heartbeat, digging for control. There's a number in the silence, there's a lifeline for your soul.
You don't own me, you don't get the last word.
We've stitched by worse than you, you're just another curse.
Take your contracts, take your claws, take your empty little scroll.
We've got angels in lab coats guarding every fragile soul. Hey. Call Dark Angel, call Dark Angel, call Dark Angel, call Dark Angel. Call Dark Angel Medical, call him fast. When he's licking at your laughter, try and drag you back. When his whisper fills the hallway, hungry for control. There's a promise in the panic, there's a hand to hold your soul. Call Dark Angel, call Dark Angel, call.
If you're looking for the best first aid kits and trauma kits on the market, look no further than Dark Angel Medical. Use cryptic code 20 for 20% off. You can use FSA and HSA, CESA, or a credit card to buy your kits. I just bought my fourth one, which is the limited edition leather satchel one. I do not get paid for advertising for Dark Angel Medical. I like his product so much that I asked Carrie Pocket Doc Davis if I can promote his product on my show. I get the military edition. There's several different types of editions you can get, or a couple different editions that you can get out there. I do the military because that's what I'm most familiar with. If you're looking to get certified or recertified, Carrie Pocket Doc Davis is licensed to certify or recertify. You can call him. He'll come down, teach his classes, and get you certified. You can also go, if you're looking for a quick video on how to do first aid or trauma, You can go to youtube.com at Dark Angel Medical 5115, or you can go to Instagram to Dark Angel Medical. He does put videos on there teaching you how to perform proper first aid and trauma techniques. I highly, highly, highly recommend Dark Angel Medical. And I mean, you won't be disappointed. This one here comes from Grant County Herald, Lancaster, Wisconsin, September 20th, 1870. An astonishing discovery. A human skeleton 13 feet in height is exhumed complete and purchased for $10,000. I wonder how much that is in today's. He's at 212 birthdays saved. Hell yeah. Milton, Wisconsin, August 22nd, 1870. Editor Sentinel. Believing the discovery made this morning on the farm of Mr. Stanley of interest to your readers, I send you the following facts as I chance to be a spectator. I get mine Thursday. Today, as the hired help of the Mr. Stanley, we're digging for the purpose of laying a foundation of a barn. They struck a large bone that had the appearance of a human skull, but of such enormous size that they thought it must have been some animal. It was found in a slight mound on the east side of the hill overlooking Rock River and in the town of Janesville. Dr. Towndrow, a gentleman of fortune, chanced to be passing as the workmen were clearing the dirt from the skull, and at their request got over the fence and examined it. Pronounced it as belonging to a human family, the men fell to work and exhumed the entire skeleton. It was found in a fair state of preservation. The skull measured 32.5 inches in circumference, and the height, or the thigh bones, 44.5 inches in length. The doctor thought when living, he could not have seen less than 13 feet in height. The teeth were all in the jaws and were of enormous size. The doctor extracted one of them with which measured in 1 inch and a half in length, 1.5 inches in length. The most remarkable part of this strange discovery is the fact that the lower limbs, from nearby the knee to the end of the toes, are entirely petrified. The flesh having changed to stone, so this still had flesh on it. That's it. That's interesting. This one still had flesh on it, and it was petrified. And the parts being in perfect shape, as he was buried in a sitting posture. There we go again, a sitting posture. The doctor thought that the action of the lower striata of soul produced this marvelous change. Dr. Towndrow promptly offered Mr. Stanley $10,000 for the skeleton, which Mr. S. promptly accepted. The doctor will arrange the bones in position when he will exhibit it. The news of the discovery flew with the wind, and the neighbors came in and viewed these monster remains. The doctor boxed his prize and sends it north this afternoon. I write in a hurry and have failed to give you a very geographic account of these giant remains. Dr. Towndrow's home is in Neosho, Dodge County. Yours truly, A.J. Delano. So, I mean, you got another big one right there. And we're seeing this. These things are found all over North America and South America. You know, we know the native people traveled it's not out of the question that giants would travel as well. And that was from 1870. You imagine $10,000 in 1870? I mean, gosh, what would that be worth today? Millions? Probably hundreds of thousands today. So, I mean, we're hearing about this all the time, throughout. I mean, that's just a few of them, a few of the reports in these newspapers. And look how far. I mean, they go back from the 1800s to the late 1800s to the early 1900s. And these people are finding these remains left and right. But yet, mainstream science and mainstream historians will tell you this stuff was never found. It's a hoax. But we're constantly finding them. They don't ever I'm trying to see. Giant insects, giant reptiles, giant animals. It seems like when you get around to the 1930s is when you stop hearing about these. So I don't know if it went through like a dried spell or they were starting to get hushed up. 1883, one found in the mound. Yeah, it looks like about the 1930s, you stop hearing about them finding giant human remains, and all they're talking about is mastodons and giant reptiles from then on. Dude, Don, yeah, they're badass. Just short of 250,000 by today's market. Thanks, Kevin. I mean, that's a lot of money, dude. I could pay off every bit of my debt and have some left over with that kind of money. And that's paying the farm off and everything. But what's this one? St. Louis, 1902. Oh, it's baseball. So, I mean, is that what happened? I can't remember. I can't be honest with you. It could have dried up, or that could be when they started hushing up, considering that one article we read. Playing for dog. Yeah, but with paying for dogs, so care of about $1,000 we don't. Oh, man. Ugh. Yeah. Let's talk about giant trees, giant flowers, giant dodo. So I don't know. What do you guys think on that? Get that drop down. Hey, Maximus. Now we can finish up the time kind of discussing what we've read over today. I mean, you're seeing it, but like, I don't know. Something about around the 1930s, you stop hearing about it. And we still know that there's some being found even to this day. We get reports to this day of them finding giant remains. I mean, and there was different sized giants. You know, me and William has talked about, you know, the theory of how we were massively tall and somehow shrunk down, and now we're going back to being tall again. In my day, 5'9" or 5'6", which is I'm 5'9", but 5'6" was an average height for people my age when I was being born. Now you're getting the 6 foot plus range of people. It is not uncommon for, you know, people of about 10 years younger than me hitting that 6 foot range, and it seems to keep you getting taller every so often after that. So did we start off tall, you know, 14, 16 foot tall, come down to where we was 5'4" was an average, and now we're going back up again. If you go by the growth and the height and the bones throughout history, it would suggest that was the case. Now, could we have been, you know, shortened due to breeding? Possibly. Lack of food, which would caused it? Yeah. We've got an abundance of food now, which you're seeing taller people. So that's also a possibility of why that could be. We're getting taller people now than what we did. Lived that life in the past, was bigger physically. There was once insects the size of beach balls and bigger. Yeah, exactly. You know, animals, insects, oxygen levels were higher. Oh, yeah, oxygen level and exact makeup. Yeah, plant life was bigger. Everything was bigger. I mean, that's proven. But you won't hear mainstream historians talk about it or mainstream science because it does not fit the narrative. If it doesn't fit the narrative, it is a conspiracy theory. But yet the proof is right there in front of you. So I don't know why they want to hide the fact that there was giants. I have no clue. When every ancient culture throughout history, all over the world, talk about these things, even Christianity, why are you trying to hide the fact that there was giants? That is the number one question. Everybody talks about it. This country is founded on a Christian beliefs. And in Christian beliefs, they talk about giants. So obviously these things existed if they don't still exist now, which I believe they still exist now. Their numbers are just very, very low compared to what they used to be. About colder climates having bigger people or animals on an average compared to warmer climates. Yeah, that's another thing too. Yeah. Although, and it could be my age, I'll admit, to me it seems hotter now than it did when I was a kid. It seems a lot hotter now than it did when I was a kid. I could be wrong, but to me it does feel that way. I get hot way easier than I ever did as a kid. Even as a teenager, even in my early 20s, I get hotter now than I did back then. But I've noticed throughout the years, it seems to be getting hotter. I mean, think about the past couple of years, how many record-breaking heat waves we've had. Most of the founding fathers were occultists, not Christian. That is a theory. I can't prove it. That is a theory, though. Devil's Tower. They say, yeah, that when it was a tree, people would have been 3 miles tall. Yeah, And the interesting about Devil's Tree, I remember reading an old, what was it, a Paiute? I believe it's Paiute who talked about it. I can't remember. They said that a woman was on top of the plateau, and giant bears were clawing, trying to get to her, and that's where the claw marks in the Devil's Tower came from. If you actually look at it, it has a root system, it has rings, and it looks like tree bark. It was a giant tree. It's still cold there. Yeah, it's 75 here. Ute and Paiute. Thanks, Maximus. I was trying to remember. It's been a while since I heard that story. So it's Ute and the Paiute. Okay. Frank and several others were involved in Dashwood's Hellfire Club. Could be. I don't know. I wasn't there. I know that's one of the things that's going around. I need evidence for me to go, yeah, they were actually doing that. But it's possible. I can't say that's not. That's definitely possible. But being an occultist, I don't know. Yeah, my phone is blowing up. Man, I do remember hearing something about that. I need to look that up. I remember hearing something about that. I don't remember where I heard that from. Yeah, they are. I mean, that's the last of the giant trees. Was that Dashwood's Hellfire Club? Sir Francis Dashwood, 1708 to 1781, was a British politician and founder of the most infamous irritation of the 18th century Hellfire Club. His secret society combined elite political networking with Hinduism, lavish banquets, and statical mock religion ceremonies. They found human remains in Franklin's house in England. I've heard of that. I don't know for sure, but I have heard of that. Amazing that they live 8 times longer than humans for a lifespan as well. Yeah. Look how long people in the Bible lived. The original name of the group was officially founded in 1746 as the Order of the Knights of St. Francis of Wycombe. Motto: Face secutu viratus, do what thou wilt. A philosophy adopted by Francisco Rabanellis, fictionally Abbey of philosophy. The club was essential an excuse for wealthy, influential men to escape the strict morality of the Protestant church, gathering to drink, gamble, and engage in sexual excess. Meeting places was Medheim Abbey in 1751, West Wycombe Caves. Was prominent in the 18th century. Bishop figures, members of frequent guests included John Montague, John Wilkes, William Hogarth, and Benjamin Franklin, who was recorded as visiting Abbey during a meeting. Yeah, I mean, it could be. I don't know. Where do they get their resources from? Benjamin Franklin, they get their resources from Wikipedia. Yeah, I'm not following that one. Wikipedia is the worst thing you can freaking get when it comes to information. Some of this information, the demise of the club, that was from a museum guide. Notable members, the conversation. Museum guide, Wikipedia again, very good source, museum's guide. Yeah, they got a couple different sources they got all this information from. When I see Wikipedia, I automatically shun that. I don't. Wikipedia is the absolute worst thing to get information from. So I don't know, man. It's possible. I'm not saying it ain't true, but I'm not saying it is either, because I need a little bit better evidence for me to jump on that one. It was all over the news. I missed that one. Oh, wait. Oh, never mind. Amazing that they lived. Okay, yep. It was all over the news. Yeah, they're finding giant remains. Yeah, you're right. I remember that, and they were talking about that. When was that? I think they even found some when I was a kid, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I don't know. I just said it. They got their sources from Wikipedia, and I went, yeah, nope, done. As soon as I seen that Wikipedia thing, I grew up in war. It could be, man. I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I can't say yes, that's true. Because I'd be doing everybody a disservice, you know. I grew up in a warm weather, so it's more comfortable in hot weather, and it does seem hotter nowadays, but it may be me getting older and feeling it more. That's why I'm wondering if what's going on with me. Yeah. I'm the type of person, I'll take what somebody says and do research on it. And if I could find anything that backs what they're saying, yeah, I'll go for it. But when I see sources that come from Wikipedia, I shut that down quick. Yep, nope. But I'm not saying it's not true. I remember hearing it, but I think it was on TV that I heard something about that. The more I think about it, I think they had some kind of documentary where they were discussing that, if memory serves me correctly. They found some in India, I think, near Kokomo. Oh, yeah. I mean, there you go. There's yet another place that they found these giant human remains. Why hide it? That's what I don't get. What is going to change history so much that you got to hide facts like that when it's throughout historical documentation? Bigfoot is documented in historical documentation, but more verbally than written down. Giants is reported way more in written history than Bigfoot or Dogman is. They're both reported, or they're all three reported there. Giants is reported more than the rest. So if you got something that's talked about that much in written history, why hide it? That's why it's the same thing with Bigfoot and Dogman too. I'm a believer in Bigfoot and Dogman. You can't tell me what I've seen. You can't tell me what I discovered was false. And it is in written. Yes, more so verbal on those two, but it is also in written history. Hide the Bible. Kevin, that could be. That could be. That is definitely a possibility of why they're trying to do it. We know the Bible was altered from its original state. Is this another form of alteration? Possibly. Some say that the mounds have giants in them. Yeah, every one of those you've seen, if you remember what I read, it talked about they dug up mounds and found these giant remains. Have giants in them. I don't know, maybe some, though I most think be common height people. Yeah. Not that I know of, genocide. I don't think they ever found any. If they did, they never reported it. But yeah, I mean, to what you were saying, Maximus, every single one of those we read up, they were dug up out of a mound. And that's why I said, I don't think that every single one of these, a few of these maybe, are Indian burial mounds. I seriously think they're either A, remains of giant burial mounds for giants, but there's also mounds that is called waste mounds, where the native people had an area that they took their trash to. In modern terms, they took their trash to. and dumped it in the spot, which caused a mound. Most of your mounds have giant remains in them. The Etowah mound I went into with the other third graders on the field trip had a chief of important person that was 5'9". And if 5'9" was big back then. But the Osage themselves was 6 to 7 foot tall. When an average Native American was 5'4", Osage was 6 to 7 foot tall. You know about the stone door in Ireland? Yeah, that was videoed closing. They scanned that rock face, found 7 large fingers behind the rock. Holy cow. I didn't know that one, Urso. That'd be cool. I want to see that. Yeah, that'd be cool if they'd found that. Man, I have no food in here, and I've got freaking ants, and I don't know why. I'm going to have to make my ant bait, homemade ant bait. Oh, wait, no. You know what? I don't know of the one in Ireland. I was thinking of that one that was in, where was that at? He actually videotaped it closing, but that was here in the U.S. or Canada. Who's to say natives weren't giants at one time as well, like any other? That's what I was talking about. Like the first one we talked about, it said the skull resembled that of the Digger tribe, but was different. So the Digger tribe, did they evolve from that type of giant, or was breeding caused the skulls to be the same? Both of them very good possibilities. See, I don't remember that one, so I need to look that one up or so. There's a video of a door in the side of a mountain in the States. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of, and when he was talking about Ireland at first, but then it dawned on me that wasn't the one. I was thinking the one here in the U.S. I didn't know about the Ireland one. McFinn? Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look that up. Yeah, I didn't hear about that one. If I did, I forgot, which is possible. Absolutely possible. Man, I ate too much. Now I'm feeling sick to my stomach. I made homemade fried deviled eggs. No. But, yeah, I know. I know. Just kind of lay there. Don't burp in my face. But also have the Russian Angel. I have not had a chance to dig into that one a whole lot, but I do recall that one or so. When did they find that? That was a while back, wasn't it? On average, I've always seen the northern tribes were taller or bigger on an average, just like the animals, except some animals like snakes or birds. The biggest snake is in the Amazon, harpy, eagles also. Yep. That was kneeling and was, I have no clue what that word is. I do remember something about that angel, though. 2019, that might have been it. I know it's been a while, but I remember seeing something on, may have been Time Life magazine or some type of magazine. I remember seeing an article about that. Was it Time Life or was it National Geographic? It might have been National Geographic, now that I think about it. I'm pretty sure it was National Geographic. I saw the angel. Biggest cat is from the jungles also. Yeah, jaguar. Yeah, our cougars here, our mountain lions, they get big. They get big. We got some big ones here for the Western Hemisphere. Yeah, our kitty cats here get pretty big. Very, very strong, very, very big. The cloth is where it's wearing was tested and not stone. Holy cow. I'm pretty sure, wasn't it in National Geographic? I'm pretty sure that's where I remember seeing that at. I mean, I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that was in the National Geographics. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, I seen you hit something up there, but I'm alive. So, oh God, dude, you hit me in the balls. Dude, watch what you're doing. Whoa. Oh, shit. Dude, you got me good. You need to watch what you're doing, man. That hurt. Oh, crap. Oh, God, I'm sick to my stomach now. Whoa. Oh, crap, man. Oh, I feel like I'm going to throw up now. Oh, he got me good. Oh, shit. Dude, he got me in the right side like hard. Oh, that hurt. Oh, that hurt. Yeah, I've got one in my... Oh, God, I feel sick in my stomach. Dude, pay attention to what you're doing, bro. That was bad. Yeah. Oh, God, I had to stop myself from cussing too bad. I got one in the living room. Oh, crap, dude. Sorry, guys. Oh, he got jealous and then he just nailed me hard. I do now. I feel like I'm going to throw up. That ain't good. But whew. Oh, man. Yeah, no kidding. Oh, God. Yeah, I'll be okay, man. But God bless America. He got me good. Oh, sorry, guys. Oh. I scratched my foot the other night when I was asleep, jumping off the bed onto the floor, and his back foot got me. I can't be rightfully mad at him. Totally, he just didn't realize. Yeah. No, he's just jealous because I was holding snow, and he didn't like the fact, so he thought he was going to push me out of the way so that he can be in my lap, and instead he got me in the sack. All over jealousy. Damn. No, I am not. Man, it's still lingering. Not as bad as it was, but it's still lingering. Whew. Almost instantaneously got sick to my stomach when he did that too. Oh, once again, sorry guys. Oh, technical difficulties. But yeah, I mean, when we're seeing this type of stuff, it's gotta hope not. Oh yeah. I lost my train of thought while I was talking before now. What was I talking about? Yeah, I don't remember what I was talking about before that happened. Oh. But, you know, if you think about the height of Bigfoot and stuff like that, I mean, technically they would be in that giant class as well. You know, and is that where we're getting them when we're seeing them 9, 10, 12 footers? Is that actual remains of humans or is that remains of Bigfoot? Get on the bike and sit on it while engine is running on idle and the vibration needs the pain. I'd probably heard it worse, man. Please stand by to get mine going again. Yeah, that ain't no joke, man. Now, I can't remember what I was talking about before it happened. No, it wouldn't help. I've accidentally jumped on these things before, hopping in the back of the truck twice in a row while doing my job before. But, you know, that does make you wonder if some of these burial mounds are not actually human, but Bigfoot. I mean, the average size of Bigfoot is between the 8 and some, although it's rare, instances reported of being 12s. So when most of these things you're finding are somewhere between 7 and 9 foot tall, the possibility of them actually being Bigfoot remains is no, it's fine. I'm going to be laughing about it later too once I quit hurting. You know, it's not out of the realm of possibility that Bigfoot actually buried their remains, and that's what we're seeing. Now, am I saying that's every single one of these? No. I mean, when you're getting 30-foot or 14-footers up to 34-foot, no. Giants walked among people up until the 1800s. After that, they were erased. Everyone knew before that, but had died out now. And we're seeing that because, I mean, look at that was late 1800s, and they were talking about finding well-preserved remains. So that being that possibility is definitely there because, I mean, the newspaper articles alone would suggest that. You got tough jewels, you'll feel better soon then. Yeah, I'm hoping so. Pain is just weakness leaving the body. That's literally what I'm telling myself in the head. There they go at it. Get him. He hit me in the no-no. I don't know. What do you guys think on that? On that theory? No, it should probably make it worse. Dude, I'm still feeling sick to my stomach now. I don't want to upchuck my deep fried freaking deviled eggs. I've got it here, and it is tempting. I do have one sitting here. I've took a couple snorts off today already. I don't know. I mean, I find it interesting. Now, that one that was, 34 foot, and it was under a boulder, and its foot was caught in the crevice. That almost sounds like that was a trap set up to unalive it, because there was even talk about how it was hunting weary travelers. I guarantee you that's why that thing was under the boulder face down. Now, usually in native culture, if you place somebody face down, you're desecrating them. You're dishonoring them, not allowing their spirit to ascend. So the fact that it was caught in the crevice, foot was caught in the crevice, it was underneath a big boulder. That was a setup. And with its arm missing and part of its leg missing, that was just where it was exposed for the animals to get to. That's my theory on that. Oh, that's my theory on that. Oh wow, that's a circle grave. Is that Nordic? In 1925, something unusual was unearthed in Walkerton, Indiana. Former grave, Farmer Grove Vosberg excavated a burial mound in his property, revealing 8 skeletons arranged in a spoke-like pattern, feet towards the center, skulls outward. One had a flint arrowhead embedded in its skull, and another appeared to be wearing copper armor. Artifacts found alongside the remains include copper bands, pounds of ore, and 2 pipe bowls, one carved with a strange, possibly symbolic figure. This discovery was documented by Time magazine November 16, 1925, and the Indiana History Bulletin October 1925. At least one skeleton was described as giant in stature, and later accounts claimed heights of 8 to 9 foot, though exact measurements weren't confirmed in the original publication. What we do know is that the arrangement of the was deliberate. The artifacts were culturally significant, and like so many mound discoveries across North America, this one quietly faded from historical records. Not because it lacked importance, but perhaps because it raised too many questions. At KBRO, we believe Bigfoot exists, and while this find isn't direct evidence, it offers compelling context. If massive, mysterious human-like beings once walked this land, were buried with ceremony, then the idea that something like Bigfoot could still persist in remote regions isn't just possible, it fits the pattern. So I'm looking at these, looks like shields, and these almost look like Nordic shields. Man, with the head and everything, that does look Bigfootish. Someone pushed a big ass rock on it, hoping it stays put. Yeah, no kidding. If I can't find it, there was a farmer tractor heard a loud clap, thought it was a rock, but it was giant bones. First Nations fought to keep it there and buried and won. Yep, this is the last few decades. Eric, yep, the chief in the Etowah Mound was on his back. They let us each hold the cross stick and pass a game puck over to each other. It must have been buried with the Chiefs. Interesting. Hey, Jason. Yeah, I'm looking at this picture. I mean, at first I thought that may have been Nordic because of what looked like a shield, but that's not a shield. But looking at the skulls of these things, that definitely could fit a Bigfoot pretty easily. This is an AI generated image. It has it right down there. AI generated image. From the Kentucky Bigfoot Research Organization. That's why I got mixed confusions on that. Did you see that, Kevin? AI generated image. Oh. No, you're fine, Jason. Could it be a watermark to deceive? It could be Urso. I don't know. I mean, this is supposed to be from 1925, so you wouldn't have watermark from 1925. That game must have been around forever. Oh, yes. That was actually, lacrosse was invented by the Native Americans. No, but a new copy would be if it added to it. Yeah. To me, I would say it's more AI just because of the two different conflicting deals we had with it. It could have been based off the original, and that's why it's AI generated. So I wonder if he created that image just for that story. But if it was in, what magazine was that? Time magazine. I mean, they would have, in 1925, they would have had a still picture of it. So I wonder if they just used the original and created that one or not. But yeah, I looked down there and see neat AI generator and went, oh crap. That's why I was getting, because like, damn, it kind of looks Nordic. Then I look at it, and, well, I can see the Bigfoot. And then I scrolled around and looked and seen the AI generator. I went, oh shit, okay. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it could be. They could have used the original photo to create that. That would explain the mishap, the misidentification on it, though, big time. And that's what sucks, man. I don't know. You know what? Let's take a look. I'm curiosity killed the cat here. Time magazine, 1925. Which month was that? That was November, wasn't it? Yep, November. There's one November 16th. Let's see if there's another one. Okay, so this is the November. Here, I guess I can do this so you can see what I'm doing. That's the November 16th, 1925. Come on, load up. Thank you. Oops. I can see people putting AI generated on real picture to make everyone argue, and that is possible. Absolutely. That is possible. Duchess of New York. No, it ain't. You're right. It's not fair. Persia. Miss Lewis. Charles G. Dawes. There it is. At Walkerton, Indiana, a farmer opened a mound, disclosed 8 skeletons, one of them clad in copper armor, laying feet together like a spoke in a wheel. A giant for structure had a flint arrowhead embedded in its skull. The bones appeared to be of mound builders. So that picture is AI generated. Right there's the article. I don't know if you guys can read it or not. Let me see if I can make it larger. I guess not. Right there's the article. So it does have a little bit in there. Not a whole lot, man. That's just a paragraph. But we can confirm it was in Time Magazine, November 16th, 1925. See if it got anything else on it. Man, that's pretty shitty. Find something like that and you only give it a paragraph. Boy, you better hold on, not potty in my house. I'm already upset with you for hitting me in the sack. Yeah, you come running in here. I knew what you was doing. Don't look like they have anything else on it. Tornado. That's the last of it. So yeah, the article was in there. Well, we are at the 2 hour mark. Does anybody else got any questions or anything before we call her a night? Thanks for bringing that up, Kevin. I mean, yep. At least we can prove it was in Time Magazine, just paragraph. Hey, Claus. Don't look like we got anybody else. Anything? I appreciate everybody for coming in. My new subscribers and my OGs, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Hope you can walk in the morning. Yeah, no kidding. Hope you guys found this interesting. If you guys watch this later on and got questions about any of the newspaper articles I read about finding these skeleton remains, put it in there. I'll try to answer it to the best of my ability. Anybody can do what I did. All I went to was the Library of Congress, hit the newspaper section, and giant remains. And that's, you've seen what I was able to pull up on just that. A lot of times that's what you, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Researching in the Library of Congress can be somewhat helpful, but can also be a pain in the ass at the same time. So just keep that in mind. But anybody can go through. I do Library of Congress research all the time. That's how I found the article of the Bigfoot trying to breed with that guy. You know, the guy was captured. He brought back to the cave so he can mate with his daughter. That's where I found it, Library of Congress. You can find that stuff on there. You just got to dig. Sometimes you got to reword. Some things you got to word things right. You're welcome, Maximus. I don't know what's in store next week. I will be going on call Thursday. So as long as I don't get called out on a job, I'll be having shows. But if something happens before or during, I'll have to cancel the shows. So just keep that in mind next week. Reminder, this is my busy season for paving. So, man, I am usually extremely tired and wore out. So I apologize on some of that. I am way behind on my writing because I have been nonstop busy. I've been working on it for a couple of days, but I still got some more work to do. There's a lot to destroy that would normally be in the Library of Congress. People like Trump. It's not Trump, but okay. That stuff has been going on way before Trump, man. Come on. I get it. You're not a Trump guy. I am a Trump guy. But it was way, 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 way before him. That stuff was going on. So I don't know what next week's shows are going to be about yet. Yeah. So I get it. You're not a fan of his. I am. I'll never deny it. I am. Sure, so it's got to be sidetracked. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh God, yeah, you bet he probably did, man. Urso derailed me. So we'll see what happens on that. Keep William in your prayers. He messaged me during the show. That's why I paused for a second. He's not doing good. He's really sick. So keep him in your prayers, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed this and what was going on. With that being said, everybody, peace, love, and blessings. Thanks again. Shout out to my mod, Roxanne, who's my mod tonight. I'm grateful and thankful for her. So thank you so much. So I hope to see you guys next week. Guys, remember Memorial Day, what it actually is. It is not a Veterans Day. It is Memorial Day. Remember our honored fallen who who fought and paid the ultimate price for your freedom and for you to be able to go out and drink and barbecue and have fun on the lake and do whatever else it is you do and get that extra day off. To me, it's not a holiday, but I get it. It's a national holiday. I get that. To me, it's not. Remember, honored our fallen, man. And that's why I wrote that song. It's available on my platforms. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a safe and blessed Memorial Day. Please be very safe. I want to see you guys here next week. Until next time, everybody, peace, love, and blessings to you all. And thank you so much. And I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.
Step into shadows where whispers hum. The air is thick where the strange things come. Behind the curtain where the fearless go. Welcome to the bizarre and the unknown. Dare to tread where the darkness hides. Through the cracks of the world's thin sides. Join if you will take the dare. Where we learn of things that scare. Masks and riddles play their game. Nothing here will stay the same. The air is heavy, the lights are low. Where secrets linger and shadows grow. The walls may shift, the ground may quake. It's a risk you take when the unknown wakes. Your pulse will race, your breath will freeze in this realm of uncanny mysteries. Dare to tread where the darkness hides. Through the cracks of the world's thin sides. Join if you will take the dare. Where we learn of things that scare. The bazaar wears a wicked grin.